Okay, so yeah, let's continue to delve into, we've already discussed what it's like to live a reactive life. Let's delve into what it's like to living a proactive life. And before I go into more depth, I'm just going to paint another analogy. So earlier on I painted the analogy of proactive being like building a house and reactive being like renovating a house. And another potentially even better analogy is living a reactive life is equivalent to like being in a leaky raft out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in the middle of a tropical storm versus living a proactive life where you have like a large boat with a rudder, and you have all the navigational tools to get you to where you need to go, and you are prepared. Like, you have a couple lifeboats on board this boat, so if the boat does capsize, you have an exit strategy in your lifeboats. So yeah, and the reason I paint this metaphor is because both situations are chaotic, and life, like whether you're in the leaky raft or if you're in the large boat, like you're still in a tropical storm. Life is a storm, it really is, and life is pretty chaotic. But you have a choice. How are you going to approach that chaos? Are you going to let the chaos engulf you, or are you going to bring order and structure in your life out of that chaos? Are you going to just react to what happens in your life? Are you going to have the reactive mindset and just be panicking in your little leaky boat, your leaky dinghy, as you're inevitably going to drown? Or are you going to go into that storm planned and prepared with that large boat? And I would use a more nautically, just more educated terminology instead of just saying a large boat, but I don't really know a lot about boats, so I'm just going to say a large boat, because anyways, I digress. But yeah, so really, and that's another really good way to paint it, because life is pretty chaotic, and even God, when he created the universe, it really was a system of drawing order out of chaos. You have just the empty space with no real order or structure, and out of that, God brought light. He brought the day and he brought the night. He created everything we see in our natural world out of that chaotic emptiness. And I really do believe being created in God's image, that is what he also has called us to do, is to draw order out of that chaos and to create just a stable foundation in our lives. So going back to an earlier topic I kind of mentioned, the way we live is based on what we believe and what we value. So I already went into how the evolutionary atheistic mindset compounded with just the postmodernist relative paradigm. I've already described how that kind of creates the reactive mindset in people. So what creates a proactive mindset in people? I really believe that there has to be purpose and meaning in life. If you're going to live in a proactive manner, there has to be that foundation. And people find that foundation in many places, but I believe there is absolute ultimate truth, and I believe the most solid foundation, the only true foundation you're going to find, is in belief in the God who created the heavens and the earth, as described in the biblical account. He was the one who brought that order out of chaos. He is the one who created us in his image, with an intellect, with rationality, with morals, with values, and just with a desire for more. I believe all of us have a I believe it was C.S. Lewis, he described it like this: all of us have like a God-shaped void within us. We have a desire to know our Creator, to know the God who made us. And ultimately, you can live a proactive lifestyle. There are many successful entrepreneurs. There are many seemingly successful people who, unfortunately, they don't have that foundation. And without that foundation, you can build a lot of, let's say, financial success in your life, but you're never gonna live life to the fullest. And ultimately, I really believe it's a waste of a life if you never come to know your Creator, the God as revealed in the Bible through His Son Jesus Christ. That's a huge waste, and it's so sad because so many people live just for that instant gratification, for that just a life of indulgence. Again, going back to the reactive lifestyle, that's what the reactive lifestyle, that's some huge proponents upon which it goes forward on, which is encouraged by society, is just instant gratification, just clickbait, just social media, Netflix, and just indulgence, whether that's food, whether that's sex, whether that's whatever it might be. So to have that proactive mindset, you have to have a belief that there's purpose and meaning in life, and ultimately that purpose and meaning is found in God alone. So going forwards from that, how does that flesh out in your day-to-day life? So I believe that, it just gives us a whole different mindset. We have a purpose. We have a basis for our life. And we realize that there are things at stake in life. Life is not just a meaningless hamster wheel that we're running on. There's value. You believe in God. The subsequent logical outcome of that is that you believe there's an eternity also, and everything that you do in this life matters in eternity. And if you haven't, I would really encourage you to go back to one of my earlier videos. I believe it's part 2 of my testimony, where I really go in depth and share the gospel, and that goes into depth about just eternity and life and death, and just God and Jesus Christ, and just that's so essential. I cannot underestimate it. But a proactive life, that's a life of responsibility. And so often it's a life of reverse engineering. And first of all, I just want to share, this wasn't an original idea that popped into my mind. I just have some great people in my life who've really just steered me in a good direction, and just really invested into me, and they've taught me some great things, and this is one integral kind of keystone, cornerstone, and that's reverse engineering. I really do believe that's a component of living a proactive life. So rather than obsessing over, what am I going to do with my life? What job am I going to work? You realize ultimately a job is a means to an end. What sane person focuses exclusively on the means to something, not the end? Your focus should be the long-term end goal. That's the only thing that logically makes sense. So when I say reverse engineering, I mean look at the outcome you want in life, and then figure out how am I actually going to get there? Is your outcome, let's say for myself, I would love to build a life where I have a level of freedom in multiple contexts, but one major context would definitely be financially, because when you are not a slave to the dollar, when you're not trading the rest of your life for money, that gives you freedom. And I want to have that freedom. I would love to just invest in raising a family, and I think that'd be huge, and I would love to have a larger impact. I'd love to reach out to people. Anyways, I don't want to talk about myself here. I want to help people. I want to really get this mindset of living proactively. I want to flesh that out. So that'll look different for every person, but you want to look at your long-term goals and what you're working towards, and then think, how am I going to get there? You reverse engineer. You work with the end in mind. You start with the end in mind. That's so important. And that'll impact every decision you make in life, every major decision. Life is ultimately just a series of decisions, and how we make those decisions, whether we make them proactively or reactively, will either make or break our life. And I've just heard this said before, but 95% of life, or 5% of life, is what happens to you. 95% is how you react. So what that ultimately entails is 95% of your outcomes and what happens in your life is really determined by your mindset, whether it's a proactive mindset or a reactive mindset. And that is huge. You cannot underestimate that. What derails some people in life, people who have a proactive mindset, those same circumstances, whether it's a serious illness, a separation, the death of a loved one, whatever that may be, the same circumstance which brought a person with a reactive mindset to their breaking point and was, in some cases, the undoing of them. For a person with a proactive mindset, they will learn from those circumstances. They will grow as a person. And that's really another integral part of the proactive mindset. Beyond just reverse engineering, some practical thought processes are just the thought process of getting out of your comfort zone, doing what is difficult, growing as an individual, investing in yourself. People invest so many years of their life in just learning how to make money. Is money what matters? No, what matters is living for God, loving and serving others, and the impact that you're going to leave. I've shared this before, but like, what do you want to be left on your headstone at the end of your life when you're buried? What do you want your headstone to say? That, yeah, Joe was a really smart person. He made a lot of money, blah blah blah, whatever. Or do you want to leave a legacy? Do you want to invest in people? If you invest in people, that is an ongoing investment that will supersede and extend beyond your own physical life. Money can't, in and of itself, can't really do that. So yeah, just proactive people really have that mindset of investing in people, serving others. And one thing I just want to mention here is, you guys probably know this, but these podcasts are completely unscripted, so I sincerely apologize if I go on tangents here and there, and maybe at times my thoughts are a little scattered, but I just want to mention that. I should have mentioned that up front. But yeah, that's a big part of the proactive mindset, is going out of your comfort zone, growing as a person, and yeah, just striving for excellence in whatever you do, taking responsibility and ownership for your decisions. So yeah, going back to, in the reactive mindset, I kind of went over a few basic things like education, career, marriage. So yeah, with the proactive mindset, education, so often for the people with the reactive mindset, it's just within the school structure. It's like that's where learning starts and that's where it stops. But proactive people are always learning. You're always growing. You're always developing. And the mind that's an awesome tool that God's given us. And He gave it to us not to squander. He gave it to us to use for His glory. And it's just so important. Just constantly developing your mind, constantly growing in wisdom and discernment. And I do believe that. Yeah, that's just one component though. People obsess over IQ, but at the end of the day, what matters is not your IQ, but really your service and love and care towards others. Just the legacy of kindness you leave. But yeah, so education, you go beyond just kind of what's expected of you, and you just live a life of constantly growing and learning. And then beyond education, career, I kind of went into that, the concept of reverse engineering your life. And often people do want to attain great goals. Like, we really have ingrained in us. We're created in God's image. We have a desire for greatness. We have a desire to just go above and beyond. But unfortunately, so often people pursue a career path that'll never get them there. So my real encouragement to people is just to surround yourself with like-minded people not necessarily who are like-minded with you in that instance, but people who have created the life that you want to live. Surround yourself with those people, learn what they do, and just duplicate it. And I will say, a life of ownership and entrepreneurship, whether it's entrepreneurship being a traditional business owner, or maybe working a career, but having a responsible mindset, that'll get you so much further than the employee mentality. And then going into marriage, relationships, yeah, that's a decision that is just made with it's made proactively. It's made proactive people will make that decision just with considering so many factors. Like, is the person you're pursuing someone that you can really run in life with? Someone with common values to you, someone who's building something in life that you want to build alongside them? Or are you just going in opposite directions? Because the unfortunate reality is you can have two proactive people. They have that mindset of being proactive. Let's say they get married, but they have opposite goals. You're running in opposite directions. You have tons of drive and initiative and purpose, but you're going in opposite directions. I really do believe, I love just kind of making mathematical analogies, and I really do believe marriage, there are a few things. So marriage could be like, if, let's say, you marry someone who is going in an opposite direction, it's subtraction. It's like subtraction. Let's say you have 10 minus 10, you get 0. You get a net outcome of 0. So if you're going in opposite directions, you're just like, just not building each other up. And then if you kind of, let's say it's just one of you who's really driven, the other person isn't really doing much with their life, they're just kind of dragging their feet, it just stays the same, just 10. But then, if you have someone who's really just on the same pathway as you, that's like multiplication. 10 times 10 is 100. And I mean, the analogy can continue. Like you could even do 10 to the power of 10, which is what, like 10,000? Beyond that. I'm not going to do that math right now. But anyways, yeah, just who you marry and who you run in life with, that's such an important decision. People just run into it, and so often the sad thing is so many people, like, being infatuated, that's a natural component of what it is to be human. Like, we have those emotions, we have those attractions, but don't base your decision of who you marry on infatuation, because it's not going to last. It's something that so often, like, you have to, it's a commitment. You're in it for life together. It's a logical commitment. And don't let your emotions supersede what you know to be right. So yeah, that's just such an important decision, which will so often either make your life or break your life. Like, really, I repeat it, it's like more important than even a career decision, because careers you can change, but marriage is meant to be for life. So yeah, what then is the consequences? What in a proactive life you're sowing? What do you reap from the proactive life? And there's just so many benefits. It depends what your goals were in the first place, but more often than not, you can just create, if you've made wise, proactive decisions with the end goal in mind, like, life will still happen. There will still be difficulties. There will still be chaos. Like, that's just part of life. But you can bring order out of that chaos. You can create a solid, stable foundation. You can leave a legacy. You can build a family and just have kids that respect and look up to you, and just the incredible opportunity to even have a generational impact. Like, imagine being that person in your family tree who perhaps was one of the first ones to make genuinely responsible, proactive decisions in your career, and who you marry, and your education, and everything you did in life. And imagine how that could change your family tree for ongoing generations. And that's a reality. So often in life, really how you were raised and just that even the decisions of your parents have such a huge impact on who you become. And unfortunately, many people, their parents perhaps did make irresponsible, unwise choices and decisions that negatively impacted them. But again, we have that free choice. Are we going to live a proactive or reactive life? You can break those chains. If that's a cycle within your family, you can break free from them. You're completely capable of doing that. So yeah, I've kind of delved into this a bit. I mean, there's so many other things that could be said, but this is just a basic kind of structured framework of living a proactive life versus living reactive. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any further thoughts, feel free to comment below, and yeah, have a great day, guys.